Welcome. My name is Christian Engel. I'm the president and CEO for the YMCA of the capital area here in Baton Rouge. Thank you very much for coming tonight to our annual celebration. Here at the YMCA, it's a tradition that we open up every meeting or function that we have with an opening prayer or devotion. And I would like to introduce Jaden Bryant, who's going to do our devotion tonight.
Good evening. The YMCA has been a part of my foundation since I was a mere 20 months old. At that time, next to the A.C. Lewis YMCA on South Foster, there was a Y preschool. The Y Association is guided by 4 core values: caring, honesty, respect, and responsibility. Looking back, I can say that the values of this organization made up an integral part of my early development. At the YMCA preschool, I was allowed to be inquisitive and to learn and expand on my interests. Most importantly, I was allowed to explore what it means to be a citizen of the world. Now I know, that's a lot to ask of a preschool. But from taking weeks to teach us about disabilities, to having us visit nursing home residents on field trips, to simply ensuring that we had healthy relationships with each other as petty young children, this institution instilled excellent moral values in me long before I understood their importance. As far as I knew, I was just having fun. The next time I would see myself growing as an extension of the YMCA was when I joined youth and government in high school. To be quite honest, unlike many of my counterparts, I did not come into this program shy. I was very excited and I had a lot of opinions to share. However, I can certainly say I came in with much to learn. Youth and government has taught me how to use my voice. It has taught me how to be flexible and to listen. I have even been able to develop my leadership skills as McKinley's delegation president this year. Every year, I continue to be inspired by the creativity and knowledge of my own generation, and I can tell you that that is a very powerful thing. Once more, I have found myself in a YMCA community that values caring, honesty, respect, and responsibility. I have worked with students from all over the state and seen a wealth of potential in my peers for them to enact change around the world. I thank the YMCA for tapping this potential and giving hundreds of students the confidence to see it in themselves every year. I am so grateful that I have been able to experience the magic of other young voices as I develop my own, and I cannot wait to see the love, openness, and positivity that I have known as a part of the YMCA programs to be reflected in the work of my generation for years to come. And now, please join me with your hearts and minds for a prayer. God, thank you for bringing us a diverse group together on this evening. Let us remember why we are here, joined by the causes that unite us for this lovely banquet. Let us remember all that has made this occasion possible and our own hopes for the safety and goodwill. In the name of all that is holy, amen.
Yeah, so I think after that, we're going to end the evening now. So thank you very much. That was fantastic. Thank you. Second, I'm very happy to introduce our mayor, Ms. Sharon Westbroom. Would you please come up and say a couple words? Thank you very much.
Thank you, Christian, and good evening, everyone. That was indeed a great way to start the evening off. Thank you, Jaden, once again. Let's celebrate her one more time. I'm certainly delighted to be here and welcome all of you all to the annual celebration of the Capital Area's YMCA. You know, I will tell you that the Y's impact on this community does not go unnoticed. In fact, Jaden's testimony speaks to the impact of the YMCA. I will tell you that all of the staff, the volunteers, the donors, the partners are all instrumental in developing our youth as well as the holistic part of our community, including social change. I will tell you that what I love about the Y is that through their promotion of programs for young people, for healthy living, for spreading a message of equity and inclusion. They have become a dominant part of the fabric of our community. I believe that the Y's mission directly complements my goal and my mission for this city, which is to continue to develop a Baton Rouge that is hallmarked around peace, prosperity, and progress for all. Tonight, we honor and congratulate the many volunteers at the Y. Through volunteerism, you have expressed your generosity and your compassion while improving the lives of so many individuals that you have touched. The firm values of friendship, justice, respect, and optimism shine through each and every one of you. It's no secret that the YMCA is a powerful nationwide organization. Thank you for being a part of an organization seeking to unite this city, enriched with diversity that we are all proud to call our home. The Capital Area Chapter has made a life-changing impact on our city that will last for generations to come. Just ask Jaden. I will always be a strong advocate for advancing your goals, your mission, and your cause for action. Enjoy the evening, and God bless you.
Thank you very much, Mayor Broom. Next, I'd like to invite up Congressman Garrett Graves. So, thank you.
Hey, just want to be very quick and want to thank all of y'all for being here today. You know, you look at government, and in many cases, government is forcing or directing people to do certain things with regulations or laws. And one of the greatest things about this whole organization is that people are just here because they believe in the mission. They're here because they believe that we need to have a community of folks that can come together in faith, that can come together to volunteer, to come together to have a healthy community, to come together, to be together, to work out together. And as a Y member, and don't call me out because I know y'all know how frequently I've been there or not, but as a Y member, I'll also tell you that whenever I go there and work out, one of the most awesome things is how the Y is just such a great representative of our community. Just the diversity of people are there, the different folks all times of the day. And so look, I just want to say, you're here because you believe in the mission. You're here because you're volunteers, not because you have to. You're here because you want us to have, as the mayor just said, want us to have a thriving, awesome community. And so I want to thank you all for believing in the Y's mission. I want to thank you for donating your own time, putting yourself in this mission, not because you have to, but because you believe in it. And I want to thank you because it's efforts like this that bring us together, where we're all working together towards something that's good, that makes us be so much more powerful, that makes us have an awesome city, an awesome state, and an awesome country. So God bless, and thank you all very much.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Congressman. Next, we're going to show a short video.
Hi, I'm Miss Kay, and I go to the YMCA at Southside. The Southside has a boxing program for Parkinson's patients. Actually, we come 2 days a week and we box with the instructor, Miss Jenna, and she leads us in boxing, and we've learned a lot of moves. It's quite interesting. She's a good instructor, and we all have a good time, except sometimes she works us too hard. the doctors tell us that exercise is good for it. And it helps to strengthen your legs. It affects different people have different kinds of Parkinson's, you know. It affects their legs, the muscles of your body. And they have proved that exercise is a big help to it. And the boxing is really great. I did enjoy it. I tried not to miss. But it's a tough group today. My family laughed when I said I was taking boxing. But anyway, it's been the group itself has been a wonderful experience.
That program at our Southside Y is, as she said, is a boxing program for people with Parkinson's patients, or people with Parkinson's. It's a very special program for me. I lost my father to Parkinson's. So it's a fantastic program for these people. It kind of keeps them on their feet, keeps them going. So we're very proud of the work that we're doing over there. Next, I'd like to welcome Ricky Blanton to the stage so that he can present this year's Edward D. Grant Award. This award is given to a volunteer who has exemplified volunteerism for our organization. Ricky?
I'll leave it alone. Good evening. As last year's recipient of this award, it's an honor to present this award to a deserving volunteer and member of the Y family. Elena Mizell exemplifies the Y's mission daily through her volunteer service at Branco Clark and her YMCA statewide youth and government program. Elena has dedicated more than 530 volunteer hours to the youth and government program. As a consistent advocate for the Y, she has also assumed the role as the lead volunteer for the statewide Model United Nations program. Elena has been an asset to the Y as her role model in her servant leadership. This level of dedication has earned her the Edward D. Grant Volunteerism Award. It is my pleasure to present this year's Edward D. Grant Volunteerism Award winner, Elena Mizell.
Next, I'd like to bring up Chris Spencer. Chris Spencer is the board chair for the YMCA of the Capital Area effective this year. Thank you, Chris.
Good evening. Thank you, Christian. Well, I'm going to say welcome to the YMCA of the Capital Area's annual celebration, recognizing many of our volunteers and the accomplishments of the Y in 2018. Thank you to our wonderful volunteers, staff, and donors who support the Y's cause each and every day. At the Y, those folks work side by side with our neighbors, regardless of age, income, or background, to make sure everyone has the opportunity to grow and to thrive. Now, 2018 was a year of excitement and discovery for the YMCA of the Capital Area. First of all, it was Christian's first full calendar year as our CEO, but in 2017, the Y Metro Board approved our strategic plan. And thanks to the leadership of Metro Board member Ricky Blanton, who you just heard from, and his committee of 11 volunteers representing all 9 Y branches, we finalized this plan in 2018. After several focus groups that were interviews with community leaders, staff, and volunteers, and numerous hours of work by our committee in partnership with YUSA, we set 3 main outcomes in our plan. And those outcomes are youth and Y programs demonstrate improvement in the skills needed for successful living. Number 2, people achieve their personal health and well-being goals by partnering with stakeholders. And then third, diverse, underserved, and isolated communities feel supported by the Y. Now, these overarching outcomes will be the drivers around the future of our Y and the programs that we deliver in the years to come. Now, in addition to a strategic plan, our Y also completed a facility development and asset optimization plan in 2018. Partnering with Grow Development, which is an organization that works with Ys across the country, our Metro Board member Scott Mabry and a committee of 9 volunteers created a plan focused on expanding member engagement while ensuring financial sustainability, operational efficiency, and consistent programming and facility services across our service area. We're excited about the future that these 2 major items will set for our Y. In addition to these strategic efforts, in 2018, we saw the Y continue to impact the lives of the Baton Rouge community in many ways. Through after-school and summer camp programs, we continue to provide opportunities for children to build friendships and develop a sense of belonging while having amazing experiences, all in a safe, inclusive, nurturing environment. Teens were strengthened at the Y in 2018 through various programs such as Youth in Government, YMCA Youth Achievers, and attendance at the Christian Values Conference in my home state of North Carolina. Whether teens come to the Y looking to explore their interest or for support in navigating personal challenges, the Y is committed to nurturing children and teens to ensure that they succeed. Now, beginning tonight, our Y will begin recognizing a few of our teens for the tremendous work that they do in our communities and our branches. In 2018, more than 7,800 youth and teens participated in after-school, summer camp, and teen programming. And when kids participate in YMCA youth sports, they learn valuable social and teamwork skills, and they contribute to a healthier community. In 2018, we saw strong growth in our youth sports programs as more than 14,000 youth and adults participated in sports and tennis programming. Keeping with that theme, in 2018, the Y completed a major renovation of the tennis courts at the Lamar Family Tennis Center located at the Manship Y. If you haven't been there, we're really proud of it and you should go check it out. Thanks to a donation of $400,000 plus grants totaling more than another additional $100,000, we made much needed improvements to the facility. And I'm proud to say that these improvements led to our tennis center being recognized in 2018 by the United States Tennis Association as one of their top 25 facilities in the country. We were also recognized by the Louisiana Tennis Association as the top tennis facility in Louisiana. So, our homeless outreach program, spearheaded by our staff and volunteers, provided clothing, food, and toiletry items to more than 8,000 individuals. And keeping the community healthy while promoting belonging, friendship, and accountability is what separates the Y from other service providers. In 2018, the Y served more than 36,000 individuals through health and wellness programs across the capital region. Now, in South Louisiana, we're blessed with an abundance of a lot of things, and one of them is water. We have lots of water all around us. That's why it is critical that we all know water safety basics. The Y Swim Lesson Program and Safety Around Water Initiative provided life-saving skills to make more of our community feel safe and confident around water. In 2018, more than 4,300 men, women, and children learned how to swim at our Ys. Now, why is this important? It's important because according to the World Health Organization and the CDC, about 1 in 5 people who die from drowning in the United States are children 14 and younger. The fatal unintentional drowning rate for African Americans was significantly higher than that of Caucasians across all ages. The disparity is widest among children 5 to 18 years old. And that disparity is most pronounced in swimming pools. African American children ages 5 to 19 drown in swimming pools at rates 5.5 times higher than Caucasians of the same age. This disparity is greatest among those 11 to 12 years old, where African Americans drown in swimming pools at rates 10 times higher than those of Caucasians. By working and partnering with neighborhood schools, we were able to teach more than 1,000 primarily minority children how to be safe around water, and we hope to do that again in 2019. Part of our focus in the communities we serve is that everyone has an opportunity to participate, regardless of their ability to pay. I want to say thank you to the more than 3,700 donors and volunteers who raised in excess of $540,000 in 2018 to provide assistance to those in financial need. In addition, through special events and grant funding, the Y was able to provide more than $960,000 to help children and families participate in YMCA membership and programming. Now that is a real impact on our community. We need your help to continue this support throughout 2019 as well. There's a copy of the 2018 annual report at your table. Our hope is that you will share this information with your friends and your colleagues to communicate the impact our Y has in Baton Rouge. We will have an electronic link on our website as well. Thank you and enjoy the rest of your evening.
Thank you, Chris. So Chris is my new boss this year, so didn't he do a great job just then? That was great. No, thank you. So next, we are going to show another video.
I'm Bob, and I go to the Charles Lamar YMCA and the A.C. Lewis YMCA in Baton Rouge. I enjoy attending both. Yes, I started at the Y, and my family we were all members of the Y, and it was a wonderful experience. I can't say I learned to swim here. I learned to play basketball, football. It was just part of growing up, and it was a healthy upbringing. I took a break from the Y for about 20 years in pursuing a career, and I came back to the Y because of those benefits for the youth in the community. I think they're very important. I think that my life today and the boundaries that I have and who I am, a lot of the basis was the foundation was at the YMCA. When I come to the Y, I find a lot of familiar, friendly faces, including the staff. The staff at the Y is wonderful. I also enjoy the other clients. They're friendly, they're encouraging, and I have some personal relationships with them outside of the Y that I have built on the foundation of exercise and healthy living. I'm very grateful for that. The Y is more than just a workout with its youth programs, which I participated in as a youth, the adult wellness programs, the education, the wellness fairs, what it does for the community. The Y is more than a workout.
We have a couple more of these videos we're going to show throughout the evening, and I just want to draw the attention is that these people come up with this on their own. Like, I would love to think we're scripting this out, but they are doing this on their own, which is just tremendous. It really makes me happy that we're making this impact on people. Next, I'd like to invite our Volunteer of the Year Award presenters to come up here. They're going to form a line over on this side, and we're going to recognize our branch Volunteers of the Year at this time.
Sir. Good evening, everyone. My name is Don Clark. I'm one of the group vice presidents with the YMCA, the capital area. I'm happy to be here tonight. I have the honor tonight first of talking about a volunteer for the A.C. Lewis branch. When I first moved to Baton Rouge in 2008, this gentleman was a member of our Y. I think actually he was a vendor of our Y at that point too. But I could just tell back then that he was someone special, and you could just see the Y in his heart. We invited this gentleman to be on our board in 2009, I believe, and believe it or not, he's still active. He has come through as a board member, as a campaign chair, as a vice chair. I mean, he has served in pretty much every volunteer capacity we've had. This past year, he represented the AC Lewis branch in the strategic planning process that was mentioned earlier. It is truly my pleasure to honor Tommy Milazzo from the AC Lewis branch. I get to go again. I'm still Don Clark, and Group Vice President here at the YMCA of the Capital Area. It's now my pleasure to introduce another volunteer from one of the other branches, the Americana branch in Zachary. Recently, and the staff will laugh as soon as I say the words pickleball, there's a passion about pickleball at Americana that truly can't be replicated, trust me. But one of the individuals who's involved with that program has gone well beyond. He's also taken that program to other branches, helped the Manship Y and a couple of the other branches get their pickleball program going. But beyond that, this gentleman also exemplifies the true Christian values of our organization. He's taken it upon himself to begin a Bible study at our branch, and we are very, very proud to have him as a member of our Y and honoring Jesse Mullen as our Volunteer of the Year at the Americana Y.
Hi, my name is Edric Martin, and I'm the Executive Director of the Baranco Clark YMCA. It gives me great pleasure to be up here tonight to recognize our volunteer of the, our branch volunteer of the year. Herman Brister has been on our board for over 6 years. Upon joining the board, it was apparent that he was a good fit for our branch with all the programming that we do. At that time, him having served in the role of a principal in 2 schools that are right in our backyard, McKinley Middle. If you go outside the back door of our Y, you can see the school from the backyard. And then also later McKinley High School. His involvement in our board not only led to collaborations and programs, but prior to that, through after-school programming and also working with achievers. And he has served not only as annual campaign chair, board chair, but also a volunteer basketball coach, soccer coach. And most recently, this year in 2018, this school year, he has helped us expand our youth and government program by adding his school, Southern Lab, to our program. Now, one thing about that is that not only is he a principal and it helped us to get that program up and running, but he is also the chaperone and advisor. So running joke is, if you're a student coming to our conference, it's not wise to act up, because while you're there, the judge, the jury, and executioner is on site, right? So his service to the Baranco Clark YMCA is mirrored with his service to his students. And please join me in congratulating and recognizing Herman Brister as the Baranco Clark YMCA Volunteer of the Year.
Hello, my name is Josh Landry, and I'm the branch executive director of the C.B. Pennington Junior YMCA. I have the pleasure of introducing our Volunteer of the Year, Alvin Burton. Alvin has been an incredible asset to our branch. I've known Alvin for quite a while, and he just has the patience of Job with the kids. He leads them in fun first, and then they might learn something as they go on. Alvin has volunteered coached for us for 6 years, seven says his wife. The funny part is, so he has 4 children that have all participated in literally every sport we have, every season for those seven years, including the last couple. He's volunteered to coach a couple of those teams without a Burton child, just to make sure that we could get everybody in. But Alvin has been a great asset to our Y. Please help me congratulate Alvin Burton.
Good evening. I'm Kevin Broussard. I'm the branch director at the Downtown Charles W. Lamar Jr. YMCA. Downtown Y's Volunteer of the Year is Mr. Donald Elliott. Donald Elliott has served on the Downtown Charles Lamar Board of Directors since September of 2015. Last year, Donald volunteered his time with participant registration at the branch's Gingerbread Jog fundraising run. Donald also serves as the Member Involvement Chair on the branch's annual campaign leadership team. Most significantly, Donald was asked to represent the branch volunteer and the community in serving in the association's strategic plan task force team. Donald attended numerous planning meetings over the course of several months, offering his opinion and insight, and was active in the formulation of the final adaptation of the strategic plan. The 2018 Charles W. Lamar Jr. Volunteer of the Year is Mr. Donald Elliott.
Hello again, Edric Martin. I'm also the executive director of the Dial West Side YMCA. And I've enjoyed, gives me great pleasure to be up here and talking about Mr. Owen Cope, who's our branch volunteer of the year. I've had the pleasure of knowing who he was over the last 12 years, but the last nearly 3 years, I've got to know his passion up close and personally, and been able to observe it. During our time over the last few years, we've had a lot of transition with the board, going from 18 board volunteers to 6 at one point in time, and also during that time, transition with our board leadership. And as we were having transition, after begging, pleading, convincing Mr. Owen to serve as our board chair, he graciously agreed, had a couple of stipulations, but they were good. And that was that we find someone, we continue to cultivate leadership. But while we were cultivating leadership, he's a phenomenal leader. He's also served as one of the lead volunteers for our annual campaign. But one of the things I got to know, and I didn't know I was in for, is when he became board chair, he likes early morning meetings, 5 a.m. early. Who meets at 5 a.m., right? But it's all for, making sure that we're on the same page and moving the branch forward. And the great thing that we appreciate about Owen is during our campaign, during our board leadership, if he feels we're not giving it our all as staff or as volunteers in doing what we need to do to move the branch forward, he doesn't mind fussing at us and telling us about it. And that's not mean, that's just love for our Y. Please help me in recognizing Mr. Owen Cope as the Dow West Side YMCA Branch Volunteer of the Year.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Ronald Smith, the proud Executive Director of the ExxonMobil YMCA. And tonight I have the great pleasure of announcing and introducing to some of you, but not to anyone at the ExxonMobil Y, our honoree is Mrs. Gloria Jefferson. If anybody knows Mrs. Gloria Jefferson, they know how committed she is to the Y. I first met Gloria when 2 days after we opened the Y, and she came and she says, I've been waiting for this forever. And she has volunteered at every single event we've had in some capacity since day 2. And how many, in the true spirit of volunteerism, she was the chairman of and she formed what's called our Spirit Committee. And she told me, she says, Ron, you have to get us some uniforms. So she initiated, we came out with the Spirit Committee with the red and white shirts. They wore those shirts so much till they became pink, basically. And I had to get them some more. But Gloria has been just a pleasure to work with, and in the true tone of volunteerism, Gloria is unable to be with us tonight because she has a very ill family member, which she has gone to spend some time with. And she asked me before, she thought she would be back tonight. She said, I just want to say how much I love the Y if I get a chance to say it tonight. So I will say it. Gloria, I did tell them how much you love the Y. So I'd like to thank and congratulate Gloria Jefferson for our Volunteer of the Year.
Good evening. I'm Kerry Wilkerson, and I'm the Director of Operations at the Paula G. Manship YMCA. Tonight I get the privilege to recognize our Volunteer of the Year, and much like Josh and the Pennington Y, our volunteer is also a sports coach with our youth sports program. Despite not having any children in our program, he's been a part of our volunteer coaches for a long time, and in this role, he exemplifies the Y mission every time he's out there, every practice, every game, and he has a tremendous amount of positive influence on the kids and the parents. In conjunction with that, he also serves as a volunteer with our Metro Marketing Committee. So let's give a big round of applause as we welcome up to here Mr. Walker Johnson.
And the last shall be first. I'm Jeff Casey. I'm a group vice president with the YMCA of the Capital Area, and it's my honor to introduce to you tonight Southside's Volunteer of the Year, Dr. Jeff Keller. Dr. Keller, in his work at Pennington Biomedical Center in the Aging and Neurodegeneration Department, half the staff bet I would not be able to do that. They've partnered with the Southside YMCA in a study on dementia in 60-year-olds and higher. The funding for that study has allowed the YMCA to have revenue from that grant of over $38,000 this last year. Dr. Keller has also helped our YMCA with our annual gala, which many of you have attended, and that we have had the Pennington Biomedical Center host that event, and we've gotten a very reduced rate for that event. Thank you to Dr. Keller. It is with much gratitude and appreciation that we honor Dr. Keller as Southside's Volunteer of the Year.
Okay, and we're going to show another video.
Hi, my name is Taylor Davis. I'm going to tell you guys about the Christian Values Conference. So I was 14, I got introduced in the Christian Values Conference. I didn't want to go at first, it sounded terrible, and loved it the first second I actually got into it. It ended up taking me 3 years to convince my best friend to come, but finally got him up there.
It didn't take long for me to realize that this camp is absolutely amazing. We got up there, it was right when the buses got there. It was a few hours after. This guy had to go to a meeting. He was a CLC, so he left me by myself. We didn't have a big delegation at this point, so I didn't really know anybody. And I was hanging out on the front porch of this building, and these other teens asked me to come and just play some games with them, you know? And it just blew my mind that all these people up here would just be so open to bring somebody that was by themselves so they would have a good time.
When you're up there, you kind of get thrown into the events, you know, it's we have different mixer games, you know, go talk to someone you haven't met before and tell them, you know, your favorite type of food, or go meet someone and, you know, give them a high five and stuff like that. And, you know, throughout the first few days, you just build, you know, quick little interpersonal relationships. So then for the last few days you're there, when you start talking about deeper stuff in family time, and, you know, you meet people and you become better friends, you get to reflect with each other, then you end up, you know, obviously opening up to one another, then so on and so forth.
If you need something to brighten your summer, definitely consider this conference. It's one of the most amazing things you'll ever experience in your life. You get to meet so many people and impact so many lives.
So I'm 21 years old now. I work for the YMCA, but I think, you know, in terms of how CVC did for me growing up, it's probably hasn't been a bigger thing and impacted me as a teenager to grow into my adult years. You know, it inspired my career, my morals, my mindset, and, you know, I definitely wouldn't be the same person without it.
At this time, I'd like to ask our Youth Volunteer of the Year presenters to please come up to the stage.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Matt Falcon, and I am the Operations Director at the A.C. Lewis YMCA. And it is my absolute pleasure to talk a little bit about Zoe to y'all tonight, our Youth Volunteer of the Year. I guess I can say I got to know Zoe about 6 years ago. 6 years ago is when she started attending our day camp. And every day I walk in, we'd see Zoe, always smiling. Always involved, always happy, always doing something with the campers. Well, now, if my simple math, I can figure it's been 6 years, so she's just about to turn 13. So she's been in our camp about half her life. And now she's starting to help out at our camp. Last summer, she helped out with the games, singing songs, and just taking on more of a leadership role. And you heard Jaden talk about it in her devotion of caring, honesty, respect, responsibility. She's got all those down pat. So if you could, please just give a huge shout out and a huge hand to Zoe Villasek. Come on up, Zoe.
Good evening. My name's Laura O'Brien. I'm the Operations Director at the Americana YMCA in Zachary, Louisiana. If you haven't been out there, it's a 20-minute drive. Come on out and let us show you why we're special. Tonight means a lot. It means a lot to me tonight to be able to present the Youth Award to Michaela Neal. She's very special to our family. She's my daughter's best friend for the last 9 years. So everything I'm going to say tonight is absolutely true, in and outside of where she is. Michaela has a servant's heart. She volunteers at her church for young people. She's in the Beta and the National Honor Society at Zachary High School, so she gives a lot to our community, a lot of things outside of the YMCA. Michaela's been on the tennis team at Zachary High School for the last 3 years. And just a little shout out to Henry Abrams. He's been her coach from the start. He's taken her to her second year of the state championships, which she'll play next week. If you don't have a Henry, you need one. So I do want to present Michaela Neal to you tonight. She is very special to us, and I'm very proud to present her to you.
Edric Martin, Executive Director with the Baranco Clark YMCA. Great pleasure to identify our Youth Volunteer of the Year for the Baranco Clark YMCA. Our Youth Volunteer of the Year is Ms. Delia Jones, and she comes to us from one of our programs. Now, every Y has a lot of great things that's good about them. But one thing that is unique to our branch and our association is our Youth Achievers program. Within that program, we do different things in terms of financial assistance, different workshops for the kids, for the youth, but we also identify and try and instill service learning. Well, it's evident with Delia that she may not even need to attend those sessions of it because she's got that piece down pat. She's always the first to volunteer. She's always willing to be helpful. She rarely misses any opportunity to do something extra for the branch or the program. And she clearly demonstrates that by not only doing it herself, but also demonstrating it to others that are involved in our Y. So please join me in recognizing and thanking Ms. Delia Jones as our Youth Volunteer of the Year for the Baranco Clark YMCA.
Once again, I'm Josh Landry with the CB Pennington Junior YMCA. It's my honor to introduce our Youth Volunteer of the Year, Mr. James Lalonde. Our branch is a very unique situation. We have 2 youth board members that sit on our board of directors. They hold all the responsibilities of a branch board. They go through committee meetings, they have special events they work, they do fundraising. All this happens with James while going through junior and senior year of high school. So when he's deciding what college to go to, what to do, this event or this dance or this sporting event that he has to go to or attend, he's still able to juggle all of that with the responsibilities of a board member. I want to say that he's done a fantastic job of doing that juggling. He's given up his time. He's helped our branch figure out what direction we're going. And he brings a unique perspective being still in high school and still be able to give that different viewpoint for our YMCA and our community and our branch. I also want to mention, you're probably not going to like the picture that we post up there, but he is our 2018 Gingerbread Jog champion by a couple minutes because he was blown past him. I would know because he passed me and Vincent a long time ago. But please help me to congratulate James Lalonde.
And the really funny part is, James was so fast that I was across the street 6 minutes behind when he actually crossed the finish line to take that picture. Again, I'm Kevin Broussard with the Downtown YMCA, and the Downtown Y is pleased to present Ms. Kenara Adams with our Youth Volunteer of the Year. Kenara is a 15-year-old exemplary sophomore making A's and B's at Broadmoor High School. Kenara is the oldest of 10 children in a single-parent home. She helps her mother with her siblings as much as she can. She lives in a 2-bedroom apartment in the Melrose East community. This area is composed exclusively of apartment housing, and the only recreation is Breck's Small Saya Park. To demonstrate to the children in this community that there is hope for a better future, Breck, Abounding Love Ministries, and the Downtown Y have provided a free Saturday youth outreach program at Saya Park for the last 11 years. The program, known as STARS, or Students That Are Reaching Success, are providing weekly arts and crafts, physical activities, unique field trips, mentoring, and provides a hot meal. The program inspires children to dream big, set goals, and prepare for the future. As one of the older participants in the program, Kenara has become a STARS program volunteer. She works with the children weekly and helps the adults in preparing and serving the meals to the children. Kenara's goal is to become a plastic surgeon because she wants to help repair and reconstruct the appearance of children and adults with birth defects or bodily injuries so they can live happy and productive lives. The 2018 Charles W. Lamar Youth of the Year goes to Kenara Adams.
That was tremendous. Let's give everybody one more round of applause. Thank you. You know, I'm always inspired by the work that we do, but more importantly, I'm inspired by the work our volunteers do. And to see young people today do what they're doing is just, I think back to when I was in high school. I don't know that my brain went down that path, so I'm thrilled that today's youth is doing that. In addition to a number of our volunteers, I know we had some youth sports people up here, and I'm sure those of us that have children at the youth sports remember those days and how much fun that is and giving of your time. So again, thank you to all of our adult volunteers as well. Next, I'd like to bring up Ryan Enquist to present our Myron Falk Fundraising Award.
Thank you, Christian, and good evening, everyone. My name is Ryan Enquist, and it's my pleasure tonight to present this year's Myron Falk Fundraising Award to Tanisha Monroe. Tanisha recognized the need for stability and leadership for the Dow Westside YMCA fundraising efforts and volunteered to serve as the fundraising chair for the annual support campaign. Though Tanisha only had a small group of volunteers to assist with the fundraising efforts, her dedication and leadership helped the Y successfully reach its goal. As a community advocate for the Y, her commitment resulted in vital corporate partnerships and a greater community awareness of the Y and its mission. Please join me tonight in congratulating Tanisha on her award.
Next, I'd like to bring up Ricky Harriman to talk about the YMCA's endowment.
Tonight I'm here to talk to you about the endowment fund for the YMCA of the capital area that was established in 1997. It was put in place to protect our organization even through tough economic times and to guide and guard our assets of this Y. Although we have many donors for the Y, as you can see over tonight, over many different years and in many different places, not many of you think what a donation or a legacy gift could mean for the long-term sustainability of the Y. Annual gifts are extremely important to the Y's annual operations and multiple families of children that we serve. What we are asking is that our donors consider one additional gift to the long-term sustainability of this YMCA. A commitment to our endowment can become a legacy gift to you, to your family, or to a family member. This gift will be recognized in perpetuity for years to come and become a generational gift. As of December 31st of 2018, the balance of this Y endowment fund has grown from its initial gift of $100,000 to now $4,291,000. These funds are currently held at the Baton Rouge Area Foundation. In addition to these funds, we have deferred estate and life insurance gifts totaling $495,000, bringing the total of the cash and pledged amount to $4,787,000, almost to that $5 million mark. The endowment is made possible by numerous donors, of which 47 members are in a group called the Cornerstone Group. To become a member of the Cornerstone Club, we simply need to contribute or pledge, or you can leave in your estate or give a life insurance policy for a minimum of $25,000. Imagine if everybody in this room tonight made a commitment of $1,000 a year to the endowment, $2.75 a day. What a difference it would make. With your help, what a legacy we can leave for future generations of the YMCA children and families. If you're interested in making a donation or becoming a member of the Cornerstone or joining the endowment, please talk to Christian or your branch executive. We appreciate your support in the Y, and you've heard several wonderful stories tonight, and you can see the value that you can give by making sure that this YMCA continues to serve the Baton Rouge community for the future. Thank you. You can have the speakers.
All right. So next, we want to recognize our branches for their annual campaign. So this is our fundraising effort that we do every year to raise monies to help support the financial assistance that we provide, and you heard Chris talk about that earlier today. To date, as of this morning, our association, this is not including special events, grants, United Way, and this is strictly individuals who are making a straight donation to the YMCA. As of this morning, we've raised $505,000. And this really goes out to the people in this room and the board members who are out asking people to help support our YMCA. So I'd like to quickly recognize, let's see, the Metro Y achieved 100% board participation and has raised $53,000 on a $58,000 goal. So we're almost there, so we're getting there. The Branco Clark YMCA has raised $34,000. The Southside YMCA at 100% board participation and has raised, officially today, has achieved their goal of $50,696. The AC Lewis YMCA, as of today, has raised $101,000. The Charles Lamar YMCA has raised $40,899. The Dow YMCA has raised $58,000. Our CB Pennington YMCA has raised $58,000. Our Paula G. Manship YMCA, gotta read this. Hold on, I'm skipping lines here. I know all the execs are out there mad at me because I'm not saying these numbers right. I'm sorry. I'm not going to go all the way back. Paula G. Manship has raised $58,000 as well, so congratulations. The ExxonMobil YMCA has raised $25,000. The Americana YMCA, that's at 100% of board giving, has raised $44,000 and $44,099 on a goal of $44,000. So congratulations. And the Lamar Tennis Center, also at 100%, has raised just over $24,000, $24,077 on a goal of $24,000. So congratulations. And so I don't get executives upset with me. Branco Clark achieved 100% board participation. Southside achieved 100% board participation. AC Lewis had 100% board participation. Charles Lamar had 100% board participation. Dow had 100% board participation. CB Pennington had 100% board participation. Americana had 100% participation. And the Lamar Tennis Center had 100% participation. So to kick off this next segment, we'd like to show another video.
Hi, my name is Cheryl Watt. I am the program coordinator and an assistant principal at the Gardier Community Christian School. The Gardier Community Christian School is a private Christian school that serves the low-income children in a very underserved area of South Baton Rouge. So one of the programs that the YMCA does that is so important is safety around water. And they send an instructor to your school. And Tracy came to our school. She came twice a week. She worked with the different grade levels. They did classes. They did things where they pretended they were around a pool and talked about the different things that could happen. One of the children jumped in and pretended like something was going on, and the other children had to figure out what was the best way to help that child under her guidance. And so there were just a lot of things that went into it. They learned basics of CPR, calling 911, getting an adult, all of those important things. And then at the end of it, because of a grant that the YMCA had gotten, they were able to rent a bus for us to actually bus our children to the YMCA, and they got to have swim lessons. I think we fit so well with the YMCA because we have very similar goals. The YMCA looks to serve the community, every piece of the community, including that low income, that underserved community that doesn't have access to so many things. The YMCA goes out of their way to make it happen for them. And so it's such a great fit for us because that's exactly what we're doing. And we can't do it alone. We value that partnership so much. These are our children. These are all of our children. It's so easy for people to pretend that certain children in our city don't exist. But you know what? They do, and they're ours. They're all of ours, and we all have responsibility for them. And so I just ask you to open your heart to these kids. I ask you to educate yourself about what's going on in their communities, where they're missing pieces of their puzzles, where the community is falling short for them, often where their families are falling short, but the community can step in and fill that gap. The work that's happening at the YMCA is so important, and it's saving lives. So please, donate, give, help these children.
I was telling Kristen, our marketing director, when she first showed me that video, I said, we need to hire her. She's great. She's a great spokesperson for the YMCA. So now we've come to the best part of the evening, which are my closing remarks. that I know everybody's excited about. So thank you for your time tonight. What a great evening. We're not only here to celebrate the YMCA, but I felt it was important, or our YMCA, I felt it was important to acknowledge that this year is the 175th anniversary for the Y since its founding in London, England back in 1844. So this is a significant year for the Y movement. Throughout its history, the Y has been a leader in the US and around the world. YMCA first. Not everybody's familiar with what the YMCA has done throughout its tenure, and I won't go into everything because we'd be here all night. But one, we invented basketball. James Naismith was a YMCA program director when he invented the game of basketball. We invented volleyball the very next year at the same place. And we also invented racquetball at the Greenwich YMCA. So a couple of firsts when it comes to sports. USOs were founded through the YMCA back during the wartime. That came out of a program the Y had called YMCA Canteens that evolved into the USO program. We were the first to do organized swim instruction, and today we are the largest swim instructor in America. Up until the 1950s, this is the one that kind of surprises people, then they go, oh yeah, we were the largest hotel chain provider in America. And if you remember back in the day, people used to stay at the YMCA. Who remembers the song, YMCA, Stay at the YMCA? So up until the mid-1950s, we were the largest hotel chain provider. Today, a large part of the work we do is centered around chronic disease, childhood obesity, and to end childhood hunger. Those are three initiatives that YMCA of the USA has taken on that then trickle down to the work that we do here locally as well. Most recently, in 2017 and 18, Forbes magazine recognized the Y as one of the best employers for diversity. We are the 10th largest US charity. We're the best employer for new grads and best employers for women. And I believe personally that we're all of these things here in Baton Rouge as well. When it comes to an evening like tonight, I'm always challenged with what to say on a night like tonight. Not that I don't know what to say. Those that know me know that I am very seldom at a loss for words, but mostly what is most exciting about what we have going on and what we've accomplished. 2018 was a very exciting time for our Y. It was a year of great energy at our Y. We had so many different bright spots throughout the year that allow me to get a glimpse of what our future could be. The staff hear me say this all the time. We must keep moving forward. We have to demonstrate continuous positive movement. As I think of this, one of the highlights for me in 2018 was spending time with our youth and government group. Every time I'm around them, I'm inspired by what our youth are contemplating and what their views are of our political landscape. This year I had the opportunity to watch them engage with Representative Ted James to the point where he publicly acknowledged a desire to take some of their bills to the Capitol. In addition, I spent a few days in DC with two of our state's youth and government delegates, and we met with the offices of each of our senators and congressmen while there. I was blown away at how prepared and articulate they were with the staff and leadership. I mean, these are high school kids that are 17, 18 years old that are sitting down with either their congressman or a staff person and having an extremely intelligent conversation about what the Y's issues are in our country and what they can do to help support the YMCA. Tonight, we invited a few of our youth in government and Model United Nations participants to come. So I'd like for them to stand when I call their name. Celia Jindal, who was our past Security Council presiding officer. Celia, are you here? No, she didn't make it. Marquise Alexander. Joseph Delaney. Is Joseph here? No. And then earlier you heard Jaden Bryant, who did the devotion tonight. So Jaden, will you please stand up? You know, Jaden said it in her devotion about the skills that she learned, and whenever I go to the youth and government group, that's what I talk about. I don't tell them that they're learning about politics or how government works or anything else. For a lot of these kids, they learned how to tie a tie. They learned how to put a dress on. They learned how to formulate a plan. They learned how to talk in front of people, things that I know a number of my own peers are terrified to do. You know, I asked the executives last year for the first time to come up and introduce their volunteer of the years, and I literally got phone calls from a couple of them. Do we have to? And I'm like, yeah, you need to do this. This is good stuff. And these kids are learning this at a very young age, which is exciting for me. And I'm just always impressed when I come there and get a chance to spend time with them. So, you know, Congressman Graves, Mayor Broom, if you ever need any help, they're right here in this room, and I'm sure they'd be more than happy to help you guys out. In addition, I was encouraged by the work of our volunteers this last year. We have been asking more and more of our volunteers, and they have been stepping up to the plate. As Chris mentioned earlier, our Y approved its first strategic plan. This is an exciting thing for us. This plan now gives our Y, the staff, and volunteers a single voice and direction. The beauty of this plan, though, is it still gives each branch the opportunity to address each area in a way that is important to their community. That's something the YMCA has really maintained in its history and through today is even though we might say that children learning to swim is extremely important, not all of our YMCAs have pools. So how do you do that? So that's why the Y about 10 years ago introduced safety around water. Because you don't need a pool to teach safety around water. You can go into a gymnasium, lay a rope out and say, hey, here's the pool. You can bring life preservers, you can bring inflatable boats, and you can have a conversation about what does it mean to be safe around the water. So it's important that if we have an initiative, it has to be something that each of our branches can deliver upon. And we accomplished that this year. And that's primarily important because each of our communities are unique. They have unique populations and unique needs. As part of our strategic plan process, our committee was challenged with creating an impact statement. The statement they landed on is we seek to protect and nurture all those we serve, helping them reach their full potential, improve their health and well-being, and to support social change that will unite all people. That's a powerful statement when you really listen to those words and think about, okay, so how do we do that? What does that mean? For us, that means we have to increase opportunities for all people to access Y programs and engage in services that deepen the impact of our cause. Diversify overall fund development and community support to serve more people. We need to expand partnerships and collaborations to be more effective in meeting community needs. And we have to raise visibility and enhance public understanding by proactively sharing our cause with others. You know, part of that little piece right there is for when everybody leaves this room tonight and you go to work tomorrow, talk about what you heard today. Talk about the stories, talk about the volunteers, talk about the kids that have been presented tonight. And so people really get an understanding of what the Y is. People still see us as the gym down the street, and that's not who we are. It is a very small part of what we do, and you're seeing this in these videos. To date, we are focused on growing our partners and changing the way people view us. I've spent the last year meeting with each of our hospitals and with Pennington Biomedical, helping them greater appreciate what we can offer them and in return what they can offer us. This has led to nutritional education at our summer camps, expanded physical therapy locations. We're currently participating in 4 studies with Pennington and have written a grant together looking for additional funding from the CDC to enhance our diabetes prevention program. Those conversations weren't happening a year ago or 2 years ago, and now they're calling us. Julie, who's our Association Health and Wellness Director, she and I are blown away. I mean, people are calling us now and saying, hey, we want to do stuff with you. How do we involve this partnership? And that's exciting for us. That's what we're looking for. In 2018, we were able to teach more than 2,500 children how to swim and be safe around the water through a partnership with BREC. As that program continues to move forward and we continue to have conversations with them, we're looking to grow that program. We want to expand that program. Again, we're a state that is surrounded by water, whether it's a lake, a creek, a pool, the Gulf. We're surrounded by water. It's very important. And Chris earlier in his comments read all the statistics as that relates, especially in our minority communities. Right now, we're very excited about a new partnership that is coming to fruition with 100 Black Men. A couple of our staff have been working with Trey Godfrey at 100 Black Men to determine how together we can truly impact the lives of young minority youth. I, as is Trey, am very excited about this opportunity. I think we all agree that if we're going to make an impact, we have to do this together. We cannot do it individually. We have to come together as a group. 2019 promises to be more of the same as our Y continues to move the needle on supporting our communities. This doesn't mean we are losing focus on growing membership, camp, after-school programming, or sports and aquatics. Our sports program has seen great growth in 2018, and the quality of our camp and after-school programming continues to get higher evaluations from our parents. As we continue to make investments in our facilities and evaluate our long-range facility plan, membership will continue to be a significant driver on the Y's impact on health in our communities. Right now, we're really excited about a new program we're going to be introducing here in 2019. I'd like to show you a short video in just a moment. This program that you're going to see has already generated tremendous excitement. We've already created 6 partners have already come to the table that are excited about doing this, and I got a phone call today from another partner that's looking to come on board as well. They're very excited about the Y bringing this to Baton Rouge.
I had been diagnosed with breast cancer 2.5 years ago.
My whole life, I knew someone close to me was going to get cancer. Never, not once, did it ever cross my mind that it might be me.
I didn't believe it. I really was shocked. I'm like, I have cancer.
By the time I got through, I just felt like I was in pieces. You can't just accept that this is the new normal.
I was interested in the Livestrong program because I was just finishing up my physical therapy.
We wanted to enhance our physical state.
My radiation nurse said, I think you're a good candidate, and I'm going to recommend you go.
Bike riding, spin classes, yoga.
It incorporates balance, flexibility, and strength, so all the important aspects with healthy living and exercise.
There's so much that can enhance your healing.
You're dealing with other cancer patients, and if they're doing it, you can do it too.
They have the support from us to be happy again, to learn how to live again.
It's a very, very good, supportive environment.
We kind of belong to this Livestrong family now.
And it gave me just another support group to getting better. I am stronger. My energy's a whole lot better.
It's going to help you move on with your life and to have exercise as an important part of your life.
You can't be healthy enough. We want to keep ourselves active.
We do meditation and we talk among ourselves. I believe the whole program is generated to work on mind, body, and spirit.
And it has helped me gain strength back. I'm not 100%, but I'm getting there.
I've gained a lot more mobility.
There is no cost to the participants to join the Livestrong program.
If anybody gets the opportunity to do this, I highly, highly recommend it.
Being in the program has made me feel more normal.
The course is not a destination, it's a journey.
You've got the rest of your life to look forward to.
The Livestrong program is awesome. It was a lifesaver for me.
So this is a program the YMCA has been doing in partnership with the Livestrong Foundation for about 12 years. And so we're fortunate enough now to be bringing it here to Baton Rouge. It's a program that's designed for people who are finishing up their treatments and are ready to kind of re-engage in life and need to kind of gain their health back. It's a 12-week program. They meet 2 days a week. It's at no cost to the participant. So that means we're all going to have to raise more money next year. But it's a powerful program that, one, not only allows the individual to regain their strength, but it keeps the family together. What we're hearing from the different hospitals and the cancer centers as we meet with them is that's the challenge. The husband or the wife, whoever has cancer, can come, but there's not something for the partner to do. Or if they have children, there's not something for the children to do. We get to do that. Our biggest conversation as we were talking to our hospital partners in the community is we have something that they don't. We have 9 locations spread out throughout the Baton Rouge area. So the conversations we're having with them now is what can we do together that allows you to come out to a part of town that you're not at and impact communities that don't have the ability to get to you. And this is the first program that we're going to be bringing to the table. We actually got word about a couple weeks ago and sat on a conference call today that we've received a grant to also launch a program called Enhance Fitness. And Enhance Fitness is for individuals who have balance or mobility issues. So maybe they've finished with their physical therapy and they need to continue. They'll be able to have this program at the YMCA and be able to come and continue that process to help them, again, regain their life. And again, we talk about health and wellness at the YMCA, but that doesn't mean just get on a treadmill and exercise and lose weight. It's these types of programs, which is where we really feel that we make the most impact in our communities. So anyways, very, very excited about bringing these programs to our YMCA. At this time, I would like to thank Edmund Gearing, our 2018's board chair, and the YMCA Metro Board. You know, I get to stand up here and talk about all the great things, you know, that our YMCA is doing, but as support of the board and the volunteers around at our various branches that really make these things possible. Our Metro board has been very supportive of our work. They've led these processes. You know, we talk about the strategic plan, and I share this every time I bring it up. It's very tough to sit in a room as a CEO of an organization and let a group of volunteers dictate where your future is going to go. You know, and when YUSA came into town and led this process, it was literally, Christian, go sit in the back of the room and don't talk unless you're spoken to. And I had to go sit in the room and listen to people, you know, brainstorm ideas for our YMCA. But the beauty of the process is we have a plan now that the volunteers have embraced, the staff have embraced, the community has embraced, and it allows us to move it forward. And so I'm very excited about that. But without the work of our board, these things wouldn't happen. And Chris Spencer, who is, I jokingly say, my new boss, he gets to have the opportunity to move all these things forward. He gets the opportunity to see these things progress in our YMCA and help our YMCA achieve our goals. As we wrap up the evening, there are a few people I would like to thank. First, I want to thank Mayor Blumenkammer-Grave for your time tonight. I very much appreciate that. Hopefully you both learned a little bit about the why that you didn't know before, and will be excited to work with us in the future. We've loved having both of you here tonight. I want to thank all of our branch boards. Your support of your executive and the branch teams is paramount to our success at our Ys. You know, the executives have to listen to me and they have to do what I tell them to do, but they have to go back and sell you on it too. So that's not always the easiest job in the world, and they do a fantastic job of doing that. But I do want to thank the volunteers at our different branches. Get lost here. I want to thank all of our donors in attendance tonight for the support of the Y and its work. I mean, we continue to achieve new goals with our fundraising, and as everybody in this room knows, the needs are not going away. So the fundraising efforts are only going to continue, and we're going to need to do more and more. Lastly, I want to thank the staff at our Y. We have a number of them in this room. I'd like for you all to stand up if you're on staff here at the YMCA. You know, these are the guys that get things done. You know, I get to push a lot of papers and send a lot of emails and go to a lot of meetings and, you know, ask questions about the finances and where's this and where's that. But they're the ones that are making it happen. So they're the ones that are really deserve the applause tonight for all the hard work they're doing. Not everybody realizes that we have just around 400 plus employees in our organization. So it's we're a big Y. And they're the team that provides the leadership to all of those places and all 9 of our locations, so thank you. I'd also like to thank our photographer, Aaron Hogan, who's been running around all night with I Wander Photography, our audio-visual, which is American AV, our videographer, Stuart Polton. These videos tonight, you know, this is something we've been trying to do a better job over the last couple of years, and tonight's were fantastic, just the stories that were out there, they were great. And then also printing for everything, Brian Balhoff with the Balhoff Group. So thank you. Lastly, I would like to ask Kristen Hogan, our Marketing and Communications Director for the Y, to please come to the stage. She loves it when I do this for her, so. You know, Kristen's the reason all of this comes together, and I want to make that really clear. She is the reason all of this comes together. So, Kristen, thank you very much. You know, Kristen works very hard, and I always ask her, what can I do? But, you know, just like my wife says, just stay out of the way and it'll all be fine. So I stay out of the way and it's all fine. So, again, thank you very much for coming tonight. Look at that, 4 minutes late. I'm very, very sorry. Have a great evening. Please drive safely. And again, thank you for your support of our YMCA. Thank you.